Hi, I'm Mr. Duffy Ralph, and I'm here to help you out through the next couple of steps of your research paper. At this point, you should have already gone to the library. You have several note cards, and you're ready to begin your outlining to start writing the actual paper. So if you've got a couple of highlighters and you've got your note cards and you've got some paper to work with, we can get started. If you look over here, we'll see what we're doing. Okay, so what I have here is my prompt. In more than 200 years of American literature, many styles and authors have achieved a degree of popularity. In your research paper, identify one author whose style most influences modern American culture and explain how they've been influential. Notice I've done all the things that I should have done. I marked what my tasks are, what my verbs were, what choice I've made, the questions that I had. I even got my keyword searches down there, and that helped me with my research. But right now, we're looking at what to do with those note cards. Right now I've got the note cards organized by what source we have, and I made sure that all the note cards have a number at the top, so I know that that particular piece of information came from that book. But we don't really need the source cards right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the source cards out of the way, and we can just look at the actual note cards and decide what we're doing. The key to actually working with note cards is to find things that they have in common. You'll be researching different aspects of in your research paper, but what do we do with these notes? Well, what we have to do is we have to find things that they have in common. And what I kind of already have done is I started going through and marking with different colors the things that I think will kind of go together. And so the reason why some of these have highlights on them is because I thought that they would work together in that particular part of the paper. So notice all of these talk about influences today as my slug line, or most of these are about style, whereas this third category is more about Poe's life. That's really your challenge, is to find what does the information I have in common so that I can form about 3 groups. Really, that's what you're searching for, is three groups. If you have more than 3, it's okay, but 3 is kind of a magic number when it comes to writing. So what I've got here is this category, which is almost all influences today, but it's also got a couple on his legacy and his movies. And since I've got those there, I can pretty much be assured that that is going to be one of my body sections. So I'm going to write influences today. And the other things that I have, which is his legacy and the movies that have been made from his work. So that looks like they're all going to kind of work together. And that, even though they're from different sources, they all work together in the same paragraph. We're going to use that for the same paragraph when we begin writing. And then the second one, the second largest group that I had, was all about Poe's style. So you see that word style come up quite a bit, how he was different from others, or what influenced him to be that way. Maybe that will work better actually with his life. So I'm going to move that out of this one. And here, his success is more about what comes from his style. Maybe I'll keep it there, maybe not, I'm not really sure. But for right now, I'm going to keep it with this group. But right now, we're talking about his style, his writing style, and how he is different from others. And maybe I have that idea of success in there as well. And then finally, these others that were just kind of a hodgepodge of different things are more about what happened in his life. So maybe I title this Poe's life and how he got his ideas for his work. So his own influence, what his work looked like, and then what his death was like, because maybe that'll be important. But if you find out at some point that one of your note cards doesn't actually go back to the ideas that you're supposed to be proving, remember, we're supposed to be identifying one author whose style most influences modern American culture and explain how they've been influential. Well, I don't know that orphaned at 3 years old and lived with a rich family is going to really help me. So even though I have this note card, I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to put it over there. We're not going to use that because that'll just make the paper worse if I try to force it in there. So what I've got here is I've got 3 different sections, and there are a number of ways that you can work it. So, traditionally, the best way to do it is to find which one was your weakest, which in this case would be this one, because we have the least information for it, and then kind of sandwich that with the stronger ones. Or Or you can look at them and look at a chronological order. Since this is a historical figure, it might make more sense to start with his life and do that one first, and then go to his style, because that's really his life and just after his life, and then go to today, because chronologically that comes after. And then we would do those 1, 2, and 3. And so I've come up with topics here about, my first body paragraph is going to be about Poe's life. And the second one is going to be about Poe's style. And my third one is going to be about Poe's influences today. And what I've done here is I've pretty much come up with the 3 topics that I'm going to do for my body paragraphs. And this really gives me a good idea now of how I'm going to approach that all. And so since we have these note cards, it's going to be very easy. If I want to talk about his life first, grab these note cards because they're all going to be the same color. And then we're going to use them to talk about how his life crafted his work and made him so influential to modern culture. But moving from the outline to the body paragraphs is for your next assignment. So I hope you have good luck with organizing those and coming up with a really decent outline. And at that point, it should make writing your paper really, really simple.